Hello, welcome to this webinar. Today, where we're going to be examining the Business Plus newsletter produced by ESS BIZTOOLS. I'm Peter Towers, Managing Director of ESS BIZTOOLS. Welcome and thank you for your support of ESS BIZTOOLS. If you're watching this webinar at another time, which is more convenient for you, and you have any questions, please send me an email, peter@essbiztools.com.au. Today we're going to be looking at the Business Plus newsletter because I believe it facilitates conversations with your clients. So we call this an introduction or a follow-up, refresher on the Business Plus newsletter. So let's just go through it. It's produced monthly. It's uploaded to the ESS BIZTOOLS website on the second Friday of a month at approximately 12 noon AEST. We send you an email at that stage to tell you that's occurred, and I prepare a brief overview video, which we also send to you so that you can familiarize yourself with the matters which were discussed in the newsletter. We then invite you to badge the newsletter with your name to remove the ESS BIZTOOLS wording. But I also suggest that you read the articles before you send them to your clients, because you need to make sure that you are familiar with a subject matter that we've written about. We always include links to papers within the ESS BIZTOOLS system at the end of the Business Plus newsletter, and I'll show you that shortly when we go live onto our website. The benefit of you reading the articles, though, is that you hopefully can start formulating in your mind who of your clients might be interested in a particular article. And we'll have a better look at that when we actually go live shortly. What we're suggesting is that 4 to 5 days after you've sent the newsletter to your clients, that you contact the clients that you've noted down as people who may be interested in particular articles. Maybe the lot, but maybe other clients are only going to be interested in 1 or 2 items you think. So you could contact them and see if they want to have further discussions and raise with you any of their questions. So you could sit down and have a meeting with them. I always like having the meeting in the client's premises or someone else, perhaps a coffee lounge, because I think clients get a bit nervous when they come to accountants' offices. That was always my understanding. And quite frankly, I always picked up additional work when I went to clients' premises. So I like going to clients' premises because you could see what was going on. And the office manager might walk up and say, look, I'd like you to have a look at such and such for us. I can't get it to work out, or I can't get the budget to work, or whatever. It was all work assignment, consulting work assignment. In these discussions with your clients, it might be a good idea to revisit the SME needs analysis, which is part of the material that every subscriber to ESS BIZTOOLS obtains access to, so that you can familiarize some concepts that you might want to bring up with your client in the conversation as to why they should be interested in a particular activity, say the crowdsource funding equity raising, to look at raising capital because you're aware that in 5 or 6 months' time the business is going to have a dip in their cash at bank position because of capital expenditure programs that have been undertaken or a major research and development activity. All these things drain cash. So you could familiarize yourself with crowdsource funding, equity raising, how it works, so you could start raising that subject with the client, especially if you know that, or you expect that the client hasn't got assets available that they can mortgage to the bank for some further financial assistance. So in this way, you can have a discussion with your client and talk to them. And in so doing, you're going to be emphasizing to your client that you know a lot of other things other than taxation. Your client already knows that you're an expert in taxation. But I think the process should be that we're now wanting the client to understand that you can assist them in financial, commercial and management accounting advisory issues relating to their business. This is a very wide piece of information sourcing that you can give to your clients. So that's the overview. If you've got any questions on that aspect of it, please let me know by sending me an email, and we will be able to go through it then. I'm now going to bring up our website onto your screen. So we're now on the website, and on the left-hand side here, the member product menu, we are going to find the Business Plus newsletter. So there it is. We just click on there, and we have the Members Plus newsletter. So this is the overall summary. There is some information there if you're new to this concept of the Business Plus newsletter. You can click on there and listen to that. Gives you a bit more background. But I'm going to download the content. And our last edition was 249. So we've been writing this newsletter now for nearly 18 years. When we first started it, a leading accountant told me we'd run out of ideas for subject matters after about 12 months. I sent him an email every so often and just remind him that we're now producing. So I'll definitely send him one in early March to tell him we're about to produce edition number 250. So we've now gone to the Business Plus summary for edition 249. We give you a summary of what are the key items covered in this edition. You can see what they are there. And then we've got the Business Plus newsletter, which I'm going to click onto in a moment. But we also contain information that I think is the reading material that I'd suggest you read before you activate sending the newsletter to your clients, just to give you a bit more familiarization on what are the issues that are discussed in the newsletter. These ones here are fairly straightforward. We did have an issue at one stage where the article was on the Export Market Development Grant. The partner in the firm got 3 phone calls from clients about exporting and export marketing, and in each case, the client referred to the article in the newsletter, because remember, by the time the client gets a newsletter, it was branded with the accountancy firm's name, not ESS BIZTOOLS. And the partner in that firm, basically for 2 of those clients, indicated, no, we haven't put out a newsletter with anything to do on export marketing. I don't know anything about it. We don't have any clients doing export marketing. And 2 of them said, well, we are. But anyhow, it was when he got the 3rd phone call, he thought he better really start investigating. And then he remembered ESS BIZTOOLS because he was a new subscriber, so he hadn't read it. If so, he would have realised there was articles there on export market development grant, and there were these links to our papers on export marketing. So he could have read that and have come across as an expert in export market development grant when he spoke to those 2 earlier clients. By the 3rd one, he was starting to pick up the slack. So let's go to the Business Plus 249. We'll bring that up. It's on my other screen. And we've got to share that. So the Business Plus newsletter is now on your screen. So we always have an index, and we're talking about the key drivers. This is a whole newsletter based on financial matters. The key drivers are the engine room of predictive accounting reports. The predictive accounting reports, of course, are the budgets, cash flow forecasts, projected balance sheets, and the key drivers. But the key drivers are what links everything in this planning process. So it might be a plan on production, the team members, what's their productive hours going to be, the materials, the raw materials stock that the business needs, completed product inventory, composition of materials for individual products, what's got to go into what, and what's the reordering going to be? Because what we're trying to determine out of the budget process, of course, is budget of profitability, but all important cash flow forecast. Is there external purchases being made on behalf of clients? What's the markup on those external purchases? What are the projected sales? Debtors, what's the expected debtors days outstanding going to be? Creditors, what's the expected creditors days outstanding? And is there some priority creditors? In which case, I'd suggest you have 2 creditors key driver accounts. If some creditors have got to be paid within 14 days, for argument's sake, they should be treated, especially if you're going to be budgeting that the general creditors are only paid, say, in 45 days. Research and development projects, capital expenditure, loans, capital raising grants, all these type of things which in lots of cases can get hidden back in the normal body of a budget and cash flow forecast. But we want to isolate them so that they're clearly identifiable, so that you can be monitoring them with your clients, especially things like inventory and completed stock and debtors. What is it? What's the debtors days outstanding? If your overall budget was to have debtors days outstanding of 35 days and you monitor what's been prepared in this exercise and find that it's working out at only 25 days, I think it's a bit unrealistic. And you may need to make sure you do some fine tuning. So the key drivers are a very important activity. You wear many hats as a small business operator. This is what you're telling your client. So what we're presenting this to them is, will they buy some additional services for you? So you'd start talking about strategic financial planning and the reporting processes, streamlining the processes, financial, commercial management, accounting, advisory services. How do you decide if you need more help? So we're trying to paint this big picture that if your client really wants to grow their business, in fact, the first objective in 2025 should be to survive in business. And then what have they got to be doing in having these sound financial forecasts? And what's the bottom line? Well, the bottom line is, of course, that you can assist them and help them. We then move on to business planning. It's the start of a new calendar year. Some people like preparing business plans and their budgets and cash flow forecasts based on a calendar year rather than a financial year. That's okay. But it's a good opportunity to be talking to your clients again if they haven't got a business plan or they haven't rewritten it for the last 5 years. It's an annual task, I think, the preparation of the business plan, preferably for, say, 3 years, but to review it at least annually, to sit down and have an all-day session with the leadership team, in some cases a day and a half, 2 days. So the business plan could be looked at, and you could work with the leadership team to produce the business plan. I don't like accountants going off and just saying, okay, we're going to write a business plan for you, and just basically reproducing one that you produce for another client. That's not the way to do it. The way to do it is to sit down with the leadership team, have the agenda for the leadership team meeting, which we've got a number of samples of that included in the ESS BIZTOOLS product package for business planning, and work your way through with the leadership team, because at the end of the day, you've got to get their commitment to this plan, because they're the ones that have got to implement it. Not you, or you might have a part of responsibility for implementing of the business plan, but in the main, it is the leadership team that has to do this. So I think they need to have ownership of it, and preferably they sign off. This is the business plan, so the leadership team members sign off. I was in a public company environment as the company secretary and chief financial officer, and the directors of the main subsidiary company, that was the operational company, signed off on the business plan. I was one of them, but there were 9 others, and we signed off on that plan because this was our plan. So I've listed here some of the contents within a business plan so that your clients have an idea of the magnitude of what this task is. And the one I've used there is a real one from a construction company business plan that I prepared a few years ago. So we've got an executive summary. We've got the current financial position. We summarised the vision. We looked at the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We had a comment on the history. This company had been operating for quite a number of years. Then we looked at leadership. What's the leadership team's ambitions? What's their roles? What's their professional development program? And then we moved into team training, resources, and so on. There's a whole range of activities. Now, if you were acting for a client that wasn't a construction company, you wouldn't have some of these, but you'd have a lot of them. They may have a board of directors. They may have a board of advice. Just what's the relationship that's identified in the business plan? What are they doing about scaling up their business? Are they an ambitious company? Is the turnover currently $3 million and they're wanting to reach $7 million in the next 4 years? Those strategies should be identified. And then the addendums that are going to be attached to the business plan: quarterly strategic review meeting, the organizational chart, the leadership team, competitors, a SWOT analysis on the competitors. You can learn a lot from one of your clients' competitors by helping them do a SWOT analysis on a competitor. Quite amazing what you can unearth. The key drivers we've talked about. Debtors, retentions. Remember, this company was a construction company, so we've got a lot of these retention type issues that need to be documented and thought about. So that's the summary of the material that was included in this particular edition of Business Plus. We have what we call the attention accountants at the end, and these were those papers and forms that I referred to earlier that were included as reference material for you to look at and familiarise yourself with some of the subject matters that we've discussed. Within the ESS BIZTOOLS product package, you can go back to find past issues. So if you know that we wrote an article in Business Plus edition 243, you can just click onto it and the system will bring it up. We go back for about 3 years and on the website at present. And if you have some reason for us to find something earlier than that, going back even for the full 249 editions, we can do that, but you'll have to contact us and we will find that for you. The training program for February and March, I thought you might be interested in next week on the 21st of March. We've got debtors management, which is part of the advisory intro package, but any of our subscribers can attend. That's our policy. On the 20th of March, we've got for the starter package, research and development introduction. And for the advanced package, we have early stage innovation company on the 28th of March. And for the financial forecasting package, we have the 52-week business enhancement system on the 27th of March. So if you wish to attend any of those webinars, can you either go to our website into the members area and click on to the webinar you'd like to go to, or you can go to the members newsletter for January, and the programs included in members alert. So hopefully that will help you. So if you've got any questions about any of the matters which we've discussed in this webinar, can you please contact me? Just send me an email, peter@essbiztools.com.au, or give me a phone call, 074724 118. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you for your firm support of ESS BizTools. I hope you have a wonderful day. Goodbye. And I look forward to talking to you again in a few weeks' time in the next series of these members webinars. Thank you. Goodbye.